Hello, North Texas. Welcome to downtown Dallas and the 46th running of the Capital One Bank Dallas YMCA Turkey Trot. For nearly a half century, this event has kicked off the holiday season for thousands upon thousands of our friends and neighbors in North Texas, and what a sight it is.
New York City has its Macy's Parade and famous tree lighting at Rockefeller Center. Here in Dallas, we've got the Turkey Trot, our way of promoting healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. It's all here among the nearly 35,000 runners and thousands of fans and spectators, volunteers, in jam-packed downtown Dallas on a crisp 38-degree morning.
Happy Thanksgiving! Uh-oh, here we go, Turkey Trot 2013. Woo! Woo!
Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm Todd Whitthorne alongside Gordon Eckenkamp, the president of the Dallas Y. And Gordy, as you know, it's been a fantastic year for the YMCA. Tremendous turnout today. You know how to throw a party.
It is going to be a great day. And this is the way thousands and thousands of families have started Thanksgiving for the last 46 years. But what this event really symbolizes is community. It's the same sense that we try to foster in our local YMCAs, this sense of connectedness and family. But a lot of people think we're just a gym swim organization that runs leagues and schedules classes. What we do is invite all people in to help them grow in spirit and mind and body.
Now, as many of you know, the Turkey Trot is actually two races. It's a 5K and an 8-miler. Both of the courses start together. This year, because of construction in downtown Dallas, the start has been moved further east on Young Street down to St. Paul. They both start together. They run east into Deep Ellum, make a U-turn, and come back into downtown. That's where the 5K will end, and then everybody will return to City Hall. Meanwhile, the 8-milers will continue down toward Trinity River. They'll hang a right toward the Design District, go along Dragon Street, make a U-turn at Oak Lawn, and come back to the traditional finish line right here at City Hall. And that's where the party begins.
And the party does start here. There's many things we've added to the party today. And one of the other interesting things we've added for the safety of all of our trotters and all of the spectators is a partnership with one of our technology partners, Pocket Stop. And they've made available today at no charge a system called Red Flag, and it's a mass notification system that all of our race participants could sign up for on text to give them some updates throughout the event, but also in case there's any emergency or any crisis through the course of the day, we can alert all of our participants.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Of course, the most exhilarating part of the day is the start of the Turkey Trot, and for that we go to the start, Mr. Dave Kelton, who's been calling this race for 34 years. The new start really creates a stunning scene to see the massive humanity all the way back down Young Street right here in front of City Hall. Very impressive. That new corral start is a wonderful addition, with the participation, of course, doubling in the past 8 years.
Well, can you imagine the logistics necessary to pull off an event like this? And it all starts with the 1,000 volunteers and staff who have been so important to all of this work. Can you figure out how you could put together a team that would hand out 35,000 T-shirts and all those tiny little safety pins that you have to have? We're gonna have a mile and a half of barricades on this 8-mile course. So
this is a lot like Thanksgiving dinner. Hours and hours and hours of preparation, and then it's over just like that.
In just a couple minutes.
So your team works year-round on this.
It is a year-round event, yeah.
Amazing, and it's so much fun. Folks, if you're at home and you've never been down here and you're thinking to yourself, I got to do that next year, I think that's a fantastic idea. Whether you want to walk, whether you want to jog, run, whatever, what a great energy that you feel right here in the heart of downtown.
With 35,000 people coming today, we're going to be represented by 45 different states.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if you know anybody from Idaho or Maine or Oregon or Hawaii or Delaware, but get them here today and we'd have all 50 states represented.
That'd be all covered. That's fascinating. You know, when you look at the crowd and all the different mix, the one thing that keeps coming back, because we, as you know, been doing this for a few years, you see the same faces, the same families. It's just the epitome, the definition of tradition.
It is, and still, we expect to have about a third of our trotters today. This will be their first time event for us also.
Wow, and about a third of them are doing the 8-mile course, and those are generally the serious runners, but the other 2/3 are out here just to have a good time.
Those are the trotters with dogs and baby carriages and costumes and all sorts of fun things.
Now, you've got the pleasure and the responsibility of overseeing the 22 branches of the Y here in metropolitan Dallas, including one about 7 miles from here over in Park Cities. which has some great news to announce this year.
Oh, we do. We've had several highlights this past year in the Dallas Y, and one of them occurred just a couple of weeks ago on the steps of the Park Cities Y as we held a press conference to announce that after 65 years we were changing the name to the Moody Family YMCA in Park Cities. And with that, certainly was the generous gift from the foundation of $8 million to support a $28 million capital campaign to build a new Y there. We're very grateful for the foundation for having such strong belief in what we do in the Y and the confidence that they have in us to deliver not just what we've done in the past, but what we'll do for the entire community in the future. Here's Tony Martinez with more.
This is an artist's rendering of the proposed $28 million Moody Family YMCA on the same footprint as the current Y at that location on Preston Road. To date, over $12 million has been raised towards the project that won City Council approval last spring. At a press conference earlier this month to announce the gift, it was clear that the Moody Foundation recognized the long-standing bond between the Y and the Park Cities.
The YMCA is a household name. I'm hoping that this will kick off the campaign and give it the momentum that the YMCA needs to see this dream come true.
The Moody Foundation is based in Galveston and has supported many North Texas causes, including Southern Methodist University, Clyde Warren Park, and the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. The foundation trustees chose to support the Park Cities Y for its commitment to children's programming and healthy living.
Well, Todd, we've got a long ways to go before we finally break ground because we're not going to do that until we get to 80% of our fundraising goal, which is $28 million.
How long will it take to build?
We think it's going to be about a 12-month project. We're working now to find interim facilities in the Park Cities for all of those members.
Outstanding. You've got a lot of other things happening throughout the Metroplex.
Gosh, we really do. A month ago, we had a really amazing groundbreaking at our JER Chilton YMCA in Rockwall, as we're going to do a $4 million renovation. And then the next morning, we had a groundbreaking in East Dallas at our YMCA at White Rock. Finally, after 60 years, we're going to provide a permanent home there, and we're in process with that $14 million project also.
Excellent. If you ever wanted proof about the impact of the YMCA, Tony Martinez has a powerful story about how the Y builds community.
If you love somebody, you want to see them grow. And that's what the YMCA is trying to do in the lives of all of the people that we contact. Whether it's in the gymnasium or whether it's in the swimming pool, it doesn't matter.
Woo, stay with it.
Or spinning at the Park Cities Y. Ann Strawn and her husband Lou began attending classes here 3 years ago. Who could have imagined then that a bond would form so deep, so real, that it would help her endure sudden death?
I didn't know how much I would need these people and how much they would mean to me.
Ann and Lou. The two of them were kind of the light of the class, and especially Lou. He was just so friendly and so open to everybody, and there wasn't anybody in there that didn't adore the two of them, and they were cute together.
He was really the highlight of our class. Everybody loved it when Lou was there.
I always joked with him, I'd go, "These are your girlfriends," and he'd just laugh.
At 64, Lou Strawn was a picture of health and happiness, an attorney in Dallas who had a family history of heart disease. And then one day last April, he began experiencing chest discomfort.
Well, he was restless and he just didn't feel good. And I asked him, I said, "Would you like to go to the ER?" And he said, "No, I'll wait and see how I feel in the morning." The next morning, he woke up and he stood up and he pulled up our blinds and he looked outside. It was a gorgeous spring day. He said, "I'm going to go for a run. I feel good." So I went downstairs and turned on the stereo and I called him, and I thought, well, maybe he just doesn't hear me. And after a couple of times, I went upstairs and saw the shock of my life. I did CPR on him and was grabbing the phone at the same time, and God had called him home, and it wasn't my timing. But
The first day that two of them weren't there, the Monday after he passed away, it was the toughest class I've ever had to teach because there were people that came that didn't know about what had happened to Lou.
It was shocking. I mean, I think everybody who got the news was like, "Not Lou." But she had a lot of people gather around her immediately.
These women and a few men have been just amazing. They came here and prepared a meal for us after Lou's service. They've called me and taken me to dinner, and our friendship's just grown. God knew long before I knew how much I would need this YMCA. I have not felt alone. We're a family, you know, it's a family. And these people will forever just hold a very special place in my heart. You don't go through something like this and have the love outpour like that and have it not change your life.
Capital One Bank is thrilled to return as a sponsor of the Dallas YMCA Turkey Trot, and we look forward to the 46th year of this Thanksgiving tradition. We can't thank you enough for your continued support of the YMCA. As a board member, I'm especially excited about the Turkey Trot, which brings families and communities together for such a great cause. At Capital One Bank, we have always believed that as business leaders, we have a unique opportunity to create value in communities where we live and work. As a leading corporate citizen in Dallas, we are committed to investing for good by focusing on core areas of economic opportunity, education, financial literacy, affordable housing, small business, and workforce development. Our goal is to provide relevant programs to those most in need. So, on behalf of all of our associates, happy Thanksgiving.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 46th Capital One Bank Dallas YMCA Turkey Trot. You're looking at some of the 35,000 runners on their Thanksgiving Day run in Dallas.
I got all my family here and we celebrate Thanksgiving. I love it.
Hooray, family! Happy Thanksgiving!
This is the greatest race in the world. Happy Thanksgiving.
Gordy, one of the great things that the YMCA does is listen. I know you go into the communities, you talk to the people that live there, assess their needs, and then create specific programs for them, don't you?
Well, while we've been teaching swimming lessons in Dallas for 100 years, all of the lessons have been in YMCA swimming pools for the kids who come to us. And we know the statistics say that African American kids and Hispanic kids don't learn to swim at the same rate as Anglo kids. We also know that kids who live in low-income families can't make it to local Ys, so we hired 10 teams of highly trained swimming instructors and lifeguards, took them to 118 low-income apartment complexes last year and taught swimming lessons to 3,000 kids.
Literally saving lives.
Absolutely saving lives. And interestingly also, a side benefit of that came from a conversation I had with an apartment complex manager who told me that while she appreciates the skills the kids learn, what's more important to her is oftentimes the time that the children spend with our swimming instructors are the only undivided attention provided to them by an adult in an entire day.
Wow. Now, in just a minute, we're going to show you the finish of the 8-mile race, but not before we talk about one more milestone, and that's the 50th anniversary of the YMCA in Richardson this year.
Well, we talked earlier about buildings and capital campaigns and constructions, but really buildings are just physical icons in communities that describe the commitment that we've made, and there's some sense of place for our YMCAs. But really all they are program venues for us to deliver on the promise of our mission. And we've been delivering on this mission now for 3 generations in the Richardson community. Here's some highlights of the 50th anniversary of our Richardson YMCA.
If you had told me in the 1970s when my family moved here and I was participating in this Y as a kid that I would be back and serving as the mayor and having my own kids go up through this program, I would have found that hard to believe. What I find is that my exposure to people from all walks of life, which you get through the YMCA, has made me a better mayor because I understand where they come from, and I recognize that this is a very diverse community and the Y welcomes them all.
As a father of 5, my Y story really goes back to Adam and Eve with the kids. 5 separate Indian guides, Indian princesses tribes. Over the years, I coached a couple of dozen different teams in either basketball or baseball or softball. Whether it's the Sweetheart Dance or Camp Grady Spruce or running around the softball diamond. You have an opportunity with this Y to take on a role with your kids that there's not a replacement for.
With all the growth and the demographic change, you still see people coming to the YMCA as a safe place.
Keep going, left hand, left hand.
We're gonna do that one more time, okay?
Yeah.
Come on, remember? Oh, you ready?
My older boy, on one of the little hunts, we went out and found a rock. It's like this big. And he came back and gave it to my wife. And she uses it for 25 years now, has used it to block a door. I said, let's get rid of that rock. She goes, I'm getting rid of you before I get rid of that rock. And I think that's what makes Richardson YMCA so special.
Happy birthday, Richardson YMCA. Happy birthday to you.
As we go to break, I'd like to show you some scenes from an event that occurred a couple of weeks ago. Our after-school program, comprised of about 2,500 kids at 80 different elementary schools, held their own healthy lifestyle curriculum, and this mini trot that they conducted was the culmination of that event.
A powerful message. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back with more of the Turkey Trot right after this. Well, certainly older Cowboy fans will remember Thanksgiving 1974. Can you believe it? Nearly 40 years ago when Clint Longley and Drew Pearson stunned the Washington Redskins at Texas Stadium.
Well, Todd, you'll recall that Roger Staubach was knocked out of that game, and that gave Clint Longley his brief moment in the sun. But you may not know that back in the 80s, after he retired, Roger used to run in the Turkey Trot. In fact, he told us he learned a lot about sportsmanship and life because of those experiences at the Y. And in fact, he was one of those families who were proud members of the Richardson Y all those years ago. Here's more.
He is what I always grew up thinking that an American was.
In October 1983, Roger Staubach was inducted into the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. His son Jeffrey watched from the sidelines that day, chewing his bubble gum and listening to the accolades for his father.
A player like Roger Staubach, who has the character and the integrity, the moral values that Roger has, which is a great, great example for our kids.
Roger Staubach grew up learning the values of sportsmanship and teamwork at a YMCA in Cincinnati, where he also learned a skill he would need to gain acceptance to the Naval Academy.
I learned to swim when I was about 14, so I was a late swimmer, but I learned to swim at the Y.
And once he was established as the Cowboys' starting quarterback, the Staubach family were regulars at the Richardson YMCA.
We came to Dallas in 1969, and of course the kids have all grown up here. Now our grandkids are, playing up there.
In third grade, I begged my dad to play tackle football. And I was playing for the Town North Raiders, and my very first play, I returned a kick for a touchdown. So everyone's thinking, my dad's on the sidelines, they see me, so they think I'm, oh my God, we've got this, he's gonna be the greatest kid ever. That was kind of my peak of my football career. We also did Y guides, and my dad and I flipped a canoe over in the middle of the lake at Grady Spruce. My son has played at football, basketball, baseball, t-ball at the Y, Town North and Park Cities, and then my daughters have played soccer and basketball. So I bet it's probably 15 different seasons of sports at the Y.
Here comes the blitz. Roger going deep for Drew down the sideline. Caught at the 25 to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Dallas Cowboys.
Unlike the win-at-all-cost mentality of pro football, Roger wanted his children to understand the real value of participation in athletics.
You learn a lot about hard work, teamwork, trust in each other, and so it's not all about you. I think the Y teaches that balance that you get in life as far as not only taking out of life but giving back.
The Y is there to give every kid a chance to play, and if you get a kid like my dad that goes through it and becomes a phenomenal professional athlete, well then great. It's to have fun for the parents and the kids.
Jeremy.
On this Thanksgiving Day, the Staubachs will continue a tradition that began 34 years ago, playing in a pickup game that started when Roger retired.
A few years Dad ran the Turkey Trot, and we would work it around the Turkey Trot.
I'm still the quarterback for one team, and Jeff's usually on my team. So we really have a lot of fun.
Fun playing the game the way the Staubach family learned it at their neighborhood YMCA.
The Y is always thinking about hard work, perseverance, teamwork, and making sure it's not all about me, and whatever you do, how does it affect somebody else? And the Y is a great example of that.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Roger the Dodger still looks terrific at the age of 71. And brace yourself, North Texas. Roger Staubach is now a great-grandfather.
Well, Todd, we all hope to live long, healthy lives, as Roger has. But one of the biggest threats to society today is the epidemic of diabetes. We used to think that it was just about diet and exercise, if we could just convince people to do a little more of that. But we know now that we've got to train kids and adults how to change their attitude and their behavior to approach healthy living from a different perspective.
While cancer and heart disease grab the headlines, there is another epidemic that threatens our longevity. The American Diabetes Association wants you to know that based on current trends, 1 out of 3 Americans will have the disease by the year 2050. Yvette Williams of Dallas knows those numbers all too well, growing up with a family history of the disease, a future she wants no part of.
I have a history of type 2 diabetes in my family, and I've been going back to the doctor annually, and everything was okay, but she's still been urging me to lose, a few pounds. And then one year, my A1C went up, and she says, you know what, it's still in a very good range, but if you deal with it now, you can do something about it. And she said, the Y offers a diabetic prevention program. You ought to think about being involved in that. That was the thing that sort of lit the fire and got me going. And once I started seeing results, there was no stopping me. You've got a facilitator who's helping you with the weekly instruction on how to eat better, exercise more. But really, I probably got more feedback and encouragement from the group that I met with on a weekly basis, the support group. It was just like an instant family.
Part of the remedy is exercise.
Zumba is really my class that I really enjoy. I enjoy the music selection and the choreography. It's just a way for me to engage my brain as well as my body. Works in my spirit, so to speak.
Another important component to preventing diabetes is a healthy diet.
There's a lot of things that you can do that people think, oh, it's going to make the food not taste so great. It really doesn't make much of a difference. Less fat and calories in, that results in weight loss. In all the Ys across the Metroplex, if you make that first step in the door, they're going to urge you, encourage you to keep going forward. My whole mindset is changing. It's not necessarily, I'm not selfish, but I'm definitely putting me first. How's that?
Well, Gordy, as you know, I'm a health and wellness guy, and I will say that diabetes prevention program at the Y is making a huge difference in our communities. So congratulations on that. If you'd like to sign up for any of the YMCA programs that you've heard about today, just go to ymcadallas.org for more information. Well, Gordy, here it is, the finish of the men's 8-mile run. His time just under 40 minutes, a 39:58.
I went to South Lake Carroll. I graduated in 08. I went to Oklahoma State, ran there for 4 years. I've been out in Michigan for a little while, competing professionally out there. Now I'm back down here in a little bit warmer weather, so it's nice.
And for the ladies, the winner was Dawn Grunengel. She's 35, now lives in Dallas, but originally from Green Bay. She had to come south to get warm. Her time, 46:24.
Well, my Sweet Kids Elite girls are out here today, so I was running for them, and so yeah, I think the crowd is amazing. Everybody was yelling my name, and it's fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, Gordy, as we wrap up another year, it's amazing to think that preparations have already begun for 2014.
Well, we'll take a bit of a break, but I can guarantee that staff and volunteers will be working hard, taking the results from today and learning a little more about how we can make this a more fun experience and a safer experience in the future for all of the families in Dallas.
Well, from my perspective, it really is a gift to be able to share the stories of what the YMCA is doing here in North Texas. We have some thank yous. First of all, to WFAA for making this great time slot available. Want to thank you at home for watching this wonderful event year after year. And Gordy, I got to say thank you for your leadership in our community. It's making a tremendous difference.
I really appreciate that, Todd, and I appreciate so much that you have chosen to spend your Thanksgiving holiday to start the day with us every year. I'd also like to thank nearly 1,000 staff and volunteers who have made this such a wonderful success. And special thanks to Sarah Byram and Jeff Scheibel on our staff, because they really have provided the leadership to this.
They haven't slept for months.
They haven't slept for months. And also to mention that this is Jeff Scheibel's last trot. For a while anyway, as he just recently accepted the position as the president of the Lansing, Michigan YMCA.
Congratulations.
So farewell to Jeff. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us to start off this unique American holiday as a celebration of our family and friends and a demonstration of our personal commitment to healthy living. And thanks for letting us all tell some of our Y stories and some of our unique programs with you today. It's through these programs that are held in gymnasiums and swimming pools and sports fields and around campfires that really define the lifelong impact that we make on people and help them grow as individuals and achieve their personal goals. We really do strengthen the foundation and the fabric of this amazing community. I'm Gordon Echtenkamp. Thanks for joining us for the 46th Annual Capital One Bank Dallas YMCA Turkey Trot. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you at the Y.